Hello and welcome to the Rare Record Room. I've been collecting vinyl for around 40 years now. I was buying records in the late 1970s and during the 80s through to the 90s and beyond, when records were no longer in vogue and proved rather difficult to find. My collection is mostly guitar-based music from the 50s through to the 90s, covering rock and roll, through rhythm and blues, beat, psychedelia, rock, soul, funk, punk and new wave, pop and Britpop. It comprises around 2,500 records, mostly LPs, although there's a few hundred 7-inch singles, EPs and 12-inch singles. Most original pressings or unusual versions, and my aim in these videos is to show some of the more interesting that I have, or at least the ones I find interesting. If you do too, please feel free to hit the like button and check out my other videos. In this instalment, we'll be revisiting the 60s British rhythm and blues scene and taking a trip to the quaint English seaside town of Bournemouth in Dorset. I kid you not, for although Bournemouth may have a reputation for its mild climate, sedate lifestyle and retirement homes, back in the day a vibrant Bournemouth had the Downstairs Club, later named the Disque A Go-Go, which was a hotbed for raw British blues talent, hosting acts such as The Who, John Mayall's Blues Breakers with Eric Clapton, Manfred Mann, Georgie Fame and the Blue Flames, and the local hero Zoot Money, together with his Big Roll Band. The Big Roll Band were regulars on the burgeoning R&B scene and would play regularly at legendary venues such as the Flamingo Club in Soho and Clique at the Railway Hotel West Hampstead. Zoot Money was a gifted organist inspired by keyboard icons Jerry Lee Lewis and Ray Charles. He formed his Big Roll Band in late 1961, taking the name from the misheard lyric Big Old Band on Chuck Berry's Johnny B. Good. They had many changes in personnel during their heyday, with Money's flamboyant frontman antics being the focal point. They released 2 LPs for the Columbia label, as well as several low-charting singles. Their first LP was released in October 1965, called It Should Have Been Me. This was a mix of soulful jazzy blues and rock and roll, and comprised covers of songs from artists such as James Brown and the Famous Flames, Rufus Thomas, Chuck Berry, Big John Patton and Jimmy Reed. It Should Have Been Me is on EMI Columbia's Blue and Black label with the catalogue number 33SX1734. And it's in mono only. It has the sold in the UK text just above the spindle hole and the gramophone company rim text, which also includes an all rights reserved notice. The label states made in Great Britain. The inner bag is a company die cut paper sleeve. It's the Use Emitex cleaning cloth variety with a tracing paper liner. The LP cover is a front laminated flip back sleeve which states patents pending to the lower flipback, and this one is printed by Garrett and Lofthouse Limited. The rear cover also displays the Columbia Records Magic Notes trademarks of the Gramophone Company Limited. The spine displays the band name only. Copies of this album in mint condition, currently valued in the price guide at £150. The next Big Roll Band album was recorded live at Clique by Gus Dudgeon on the 31st of May 1966. Other prominent band members for this set included bassist and vocalist Paul Williams, drummer Colin Allen and the guitarist Andy Summers, who later hit the big time with the band The Police. This album has more up-tempo soul and funk, featuring covers of songs by Curtis Mayfield, Sam Cooke, Robert Parker, and an extensive medley of James Brown tracks, which was a crowd pleaser. Live at Clique was released in October 1966, reaching number 23 in the UK album charts. Zoot live at Clique is on the EMI Black and Blue Columbia label with the catalogue number SX6075. It was issued in mono and stereo. It has the sold in the UK text just above the spindle hole and features the Gramophone Company rim text, which also includes an all rights reserved notice. The label states made in Great Britain. The inner bag is an EMI die cut paper sleeve printed with the usual use Emitex cleaning cloth wording, and it includes a tracing paper liner. The LP cover is a front laminated flip-back sleeve stating patents pending, and it's printed and made in England by Garrett and Lofthouse Limited. The spine displays the band name only, which is the same as the previous LP, which can be confusing when both are shelved together, as they would be. The current value of this in a mint condition is £100 for the mono, and the slightly more desirable and scarce stereo copies are valued at £120 in the current guide. After Clique's Clique, the band began to break up. Paul Williams left and Zoot Money was approached by the Animals to replace the keyboardist Alan Price. Money declined, but he had a stint with Alexis Corner's Blues Incorporated. In July 1967, the famous Summer of Love, Money and the remaining Big Roll Band members of Summers and Allen formed Dantalian's Chariot and embraced the psychedelic sound. This was short-lived, however, and they disbanded in 1968 when Money accepted a further offer to join the Animals. Andy Summers joined Soft Machine and Colin Allen joined John Mayall's Blues Breakers. Around this time, Money released an album of songs recorded during the Big Roll Band's fragmented final year, which unsurprisingly was not a big seller and is now valued at £100. It's entitled Transition and was released on the Direction label in 1968. Once the Animals had split, Zoot Money teamed up with Alan Price at the controls in 1969 to make his final 1960s recordings. Simply titled Zoot Money, but known as Welcome to My Head, from the sleeve notes recurring references to the head of money. This LP includes covers of recent songs written by Lennon and McCartney, Julie Driscoll and Leonard Cohen, and it was released in 1970 on the Polydor Standard label. The label is the Standard Red Polydor, catalogue number 2482019. The label states Made in England, and the rim text is an all rights reserved notice. The inner bag is a company die cut sleeve with a polythene liner and a printed health warning of suffocation from plastic bags. There is a date code 300771 to the right hand side. The LP cover is a non-laminated, non-flip-back sleeve, printed and made by Ernest J. Day of London and Bedford. The spine displays the LP title, the record company name and the catalogue number. Despite the fine content and production, this LP failed to chart and is now valued at £80. This selection concludes the brief rundown of Zoot Money's 1960s recordings and releases. That's it for this instalment. I hope you got something out of the content. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure you subscribe for more. Thanks for watching and goodbye for now.